Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural divine heirs. Today is August the 5th, 1442 on the ancient moon calendar, 1441 on the ancient sun calendar, 2021 on the Greco-Roman calendar. Today we want to discuss the rollout of our national divine, another portion of the national divine movement in terms of the taking back of the resources by the heirs. And that's going to look similar to what we came out of, but very different. Very different.
Good, because
very
September 6th is when you said you were taking back First Avenue, Pauline. You got a month.
Okay. So all rise and stand. This is a sovereign living ancient. Article 3, Moorish American Al-Moroccan Consular Court Action, or Court Action rather. I am Sovereign Living Justice, Pauline Denise Ritchie, in capita feminis nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. My free, sovereign, chosen appellation is like Tajiri Bay, in capita feminis nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are the original indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American descendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. Our full faith, credit, trust, allegiance, and energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous, natural divine, ancient, de jure, Moorish National Republic federal government, and other Moorish governments. We hereby exercise all sovereign rights at this time and at all times and at all points in time, nunc-pro-tunc. So we want to discuss the rollout of the federal indigenous readiness erudition mandate, or f.i.r.e. And f.i.r.e. is a program whereby we move back. Let's make this really clear. The reason that we came out of capitalism is so that we can take control of everything in our sovereign status. That must look different from what we just came out of. Okay? Our government, which is all of us, is 100% authorized to take control of all resources on this land. I want to start this by first, do we know the law with regard to the following three relevant questions? I want to start the presentment with these questions. Are you an original indigenous, sovereign Al-Moroccan, Moorish American by bloodline and birthright? That's the first question. It's an obvious question, but it's not so obvious for some. So let's just discuss what that means. Everyone whose mother and whose mother's mother and her mother and her grandmother are previously unlawfully classified as Negro, Black, colored, or African American are Moorish American nationals, ancient Al-Moroccans here on the land. Okay? And if so, then we know that our nationality makes us the heirs to all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. So this brings us to question number 2. Do you see the state that our vast estate is in? We want to point out a few very obvious situations that are going on our vast estate, because today we are providing the remedy. In fact, we, all Moors, are the remedy to everything that's going on the land, and we need to be moving on that. So some of the things that we wanted to point out. Number one, the fiat Federal Reserve debt system has fallen. The fiat Federal Reserve debt system has fallen, and let me say that one more time because it is a spell. The fiat Federal Reserve debt system, to include fiat Federal Reserve notes, that system is finished. It has fallen. It's done. Everyone knows that. They've even admitted that. The corporations and corporations have even admitted that. So all fiat pricing is beginning to rise. If you have not gone into the grocery stores or online, you can see, if you'll just go out there, that there will be affirmation of what I'm saying. Prices are starting to rise very, very quickly on everything, including gas and all of that other stuff. Everything that was supposedly driven by fiat, is the prices are going up. Okay, that's the state of our estate right now, and that's not going to get any better. It's actually going to get worse before it gets better. And the only reason that it's going to get better is because we've done away with that system for us. The citizen subjects no longer want to work under the United States Corporation Company. They're being taxed heavily, and their fiat only buys them less than half of what they could get not long ago. They don't want to work anymore under the Federal Reserve debt system. They don't want to work under the United States Corporation Company, and we cannot let our estate go downhill because of that. Because it's fiat-based and we can do something about it. In fact, we've already done something about it. In the best interest of our vast estate, we did lien the United States Corporation Company and many, many, many other corporations, because that's going to be part of this process also. We liened them out of business because they really were never supposed to even be in business like that. They started out in debt to us. That is evidenced and affirmed by the words that are in the Constitution regarding debt. So if you need affirmation for that in the law, because that's what we do, we make statements and then we point you to the law so that you can see that everything that we're saying is the truth and that we are fully authorized to say and do the things that we're saying and doing. All debts prior to and obligations prior to the Constitution, they're still valid. We wrote the Constitution and we said to them, any debt, those debts are still valid. You still owe us, you're still debtors. So we liened them out of business, and we have restored the republic, the lawful republic, but only the Moors could do that. Okay, and now all we have to do is continue moving in that vein right there of the restoration of not only the republic, but the vast estate in total. So our land has many issues that we are remedying, to include the human trafficking issue and the perceived lack of resources, to name a few. Okay. The last question is, do we know that we are the saviors, the heirs, the answer, the remedy, the trustees, the executors, the claimants, the beneficiaries, the ministers, and the solution to all that appears to be an issue on our land? And the reason I'm asking these questions is because sometimes people have a tendency to doubt the things we say. So if the thinking starts before we put forth what we're putting forth, if the thinking starts then, which it will, because we're all thinkers, then there won't be so much doubt, because we keep pointing to the law, saying this is actually, we have the authority to do all of this. And in fact, it's our duty to do it, because the vast estate, right now, it needs to be rebuilt, period. We're building. So we are no longer, thankfully, a part of the problems that have been on our vast estate. Anyone in corporate status using black ink and capital letters has been a part of the problem, where contracting and contracting and contracting is concerned. Okay? And we're no longer a part of that problem, because capitalism and colonialism done by corpses was the problem. So now that we have escaped the appearance of unlawful statelessness previously perpetuated by the United States Corporation, colonial corporate capitalism in black ink and capital letters, we can heal our land and manifest heaven on earth, as above, so below. So at this time, we offer the solution first to the heirs and then to all others. Some points that I want to emphasize as we offer this solution to all that's on our estate, all of the issues that we're having on our estate. We're the answer. I wanted to emphasize just a couple of points. Whenever we go into grocery stores and different places like that, it is affirmed by many, many more, and by most of us. We can go to any place in any territory, and we can see that they're using digital exchange mechanisms and not a whole bunch of fiat. Not a whole bunch of fiat. And in some places, they're not using fiat at all. In this territory, there are many places that they're not using fiat at all, including some of the Walmarts and the others who've gotten themselves in proper status, because we did tell them that that was unlawful, because that is where our issues stem from, is the money, the missing money. The missing money, because that fiat is not real money. So we have been a cashless society the whole time, because fiat is not cash. And so I want to make it clear that we don't have, that it's not going to be super difficult to do what we're doing in terms of the replacement and putting more sovereign dollarium and gold-backed United States dollars in the right places in all of commerce, because they're already moved away from fiat. They're right now just digital, going back and forth, ones and zeros in computers, going back and forth, accounting for things. So it's not going to be that difficult for us to get our money in place. Okay, most, if not all, are strictly digital, which will make it our duty, and it'll make it easier for us to uphold the Constitution. Okay, and then many more, and I'll say this, and as you go out into your territory, notice that many more have noticed the tired appearance of the subjects. Because, see, when they are acting in corporate status, they look like they have it all together and that they're just running rampant and all of that. But when you raise them from the dead like we've done, and that we're going to continue to raise them from the dead with every document that goes out, you can see that when they get in subject status, they start to look real tired. Many Moors have noticed, and Moors have pointed this out to me. I had to actually go out and see it for myself. But the subjects are tired, and they have this look that says, please come and save us from this that's going on here. We're waiting for you all. And that is absolutely true. All of the things that we've been through up to this point have been preparing us for this that we're doing now. Everything that we've been through, all of the quote-unquote training, the quote-unquote education, the corporate jobs, the positions, the customer service, all of that stuff has been in preparation for us to come out of that system completely and then take control of everything that's on our land. Okay? We told the subjects that there shall be no debt on our land, and they have been collecting the debt. Now it's our turn to tribute credits all over our land. How will we do that? And how will we take control of all of the resources? So we're outside of that system, and now what we're going to be doing is going to where the resources are in our proper status. And let's just discuss some of the areas that we're going to be taking the resources back. The courts, first and foremost. Police, security, military, banking, post office, customs, erudition, teaching and learning, and customs being the things that have to do with Moors and what we do. The things that make the Moors different from the corpses, our own customs. Hotel, medical and therapeutic, food service, grocery and supply, retail, transportation, and arts and entertainment. All of the sciences. These are the areas that we are now going to move into, and some Moors are already there. They just have not done the red ink and all lowercase letters documents that we're introducing here. And again, this is nothing different from what we've been doing. But this is how we get the resources back into our hands. The subjects are not wanting to go back to their jobs because they already know that it's time for all of that to change, and it has to be in the hands of the Moors. So we're going to discuss briefly the mission statement of this federal indigenous readiness erudition mandate, the objectives and strategy, the implementation, the funding, the budget, which is going to be gold back United States dollars and gold back moorishe sovereign dollarium. And then we'll talk about the conclusion and the projected outcome, which is a well-prepared force of lawfully constitutional, highly erudite, administrative, technically advanced ministries within the sovereign living supreme jurisdiction. So what we're doing is taking all of these areas here, courts, police, and all of that, banking, post office, and all of that, and the jurisdiction is now coming under the Moors. How is that going to be implemented? Let's talk about that. The mission statement of the f.i.r.e. mandate is one of uplifting fallen humanity through constitutional erudition and lawful readiness at all levels of de jure government. The above listed fields are the core ministries that, as implemented competently and peacefully with the 5 points of light at their foundation, will make manifest the lawful land that was intended to be since time immemorial. The objective of this demonstration is the peaceful transition of all government services to this de jure government according to the supreme law for the land. The strategy by which the said objective shall be met is through a 3.5-year alignment of competent sovereign jurisdictional leadership by the de jure government, which is all Moors, in all legislative, judicial, and executive government operations with subjective custodial assistance by custodial subject matter experts. The subjective custodians shall render full access to all government resources to the de jure government by way of this ministry at this time and at all points in time. The f.i.r.e. mandate ministry is what we're talking about here. And this is implemented at all territories starting now. The original indigenous Moors are the sovereign supreme jurisdiction in all matters at all times, non-proton. And that is according to Isaiah 33:22. And you all can look that up in your time as you do some more research on this process and what we're doing. When we talk about alignment in this document, alignment in this document is defined as proper, universal, natural positioning. In the universe, natural positioning is all things natural are on top, and everything else we have dominion over. That includes custodial subject matter experts, etc. Subjective in this document is defined as that which is by the living custodial Moorish subjects ipso jure. That's all custodians are Moorish subjects ipso jure. We know that from the 1954 Expatriation Act as written by, I believe it's James Stewart, I believe it is. Implementation command. From this day forward, all employment shall be given to the original indigenous heirs first, with their showing of the documents listed below in red and in all lowercase letters. The sovereign de jure government shall implement the stated mission, objective, and strategy in an orderly manner as follows. Just one moment. Number one, to provide on the public record and to this is your government the following in red ink, and you're the government, so if you have these, that means this mandate is already fulfilled. So that way, as we move back into these positions, we do so on our terms, which is the sovereign jurisdiction, with the Constitution and the treaty being the charters of all of these places that we're going. Appellation change and judicial proclamation. Termination of all corporate contracts. Let me just open the meeting. I have more to come in. Okay, a lien on the wardship name doing business as nom de jure, war name, and social security number in black ink with debtor minus signs in it. We want to lien that. Sovereign Article 3 consular court action on debtor transmitting utilities in those mentioned in C above. The copy of the de jure Moorish American identification card in red ink and capitis diminution nolo. A living birth affidavit on Moorish government letterhead in red ink, all lowercase letters. A sovereign security number affidavit in red ink and all lowercase letters, no minus signs in sovereign security numbers. They are not in black ink and they are not debtor numbers. We talked about that previously. A currency controller affidavit, because we all are going to be putting forth more sovereign dollarium or United States dollars. You know, the little round gold United States dollars that came from the Treasury back in the day? Those. Currency controller affidavit. So all Moors need to have a currency controller affidavit based on where we're going and what we're doing, because we're all going to be controlling the currency on our land. So as many bankers and tellers and finance people and fake judges that you've seen in the past, we're going to need equally that many more who have currency controller affidavits and sovereign postmaster general affidavits, sovereign CEO affidavits, sovereign police chief affidavits, and any other applicable affidavits in red ink, all lowercase letters on government letterhead. We're going to need that. And these are things that we have talked about in the past. Most of you have these already, but we want to put it on the public record so that everyone knows what to look for as we begin to move into these positions. Number 2, choose the company that you will be executing readiness erudition at for any position that you are either knowledgeable, can perform, and prefer, or are willing to study to overstand. You do not work for the said company. They work for you. You are part and parcel for your de jure Moorish government at all times in a governmental capacity. So every one of us that goes forth into these positions, and we're putting it on the public record, we're not going there as working for anyone else. Yes, they are to assist. At all times, they're to assist. We're not going to answer a bunch of questions. They're going to assist. We're going to be asking the questions and then doing what we need to do for our nation. We're not going there to serve the citizens, because the citizens have already been served. We're going there to serve the Moors and the Moorish nation. And any place that we go, whether it be the post office or anywhere else that we go, the military, the police chief, whatever that is, wherever we go, we're doing it from a leadership position. And I'm going to do the same thing. We're all going to do the same thing. We have to put it on the public record first, and that's why we're doing what we're doing right now. The duties and responsibilities for each one of us are first to our government, which is the people. So when I go to, let's just say, the post office or wherever, or the bank, or the Capitol, I'm going there on the people's business. I'm not going there to work for anybody down there per se. We're going to be learning the processes, you know, remembering the processes, because again, we taught them everything they know. So we're going to go into these places, and we're not filling out job applications at all. Let me repeat, we're not filling out job applications. These documents will be the job application, and it's not a job, it's a ministry, and it's done by affidavit, and it's done on our terms, and we're being paid in gold money. Because if you'll remember, none of us, in all the jobs that we've ever had, none of us got paid gold money. We never got paid, really. Based on our status, we never got paid. We have to fix that. We have to fix that. And the jobs are there. The ministries are there. Not jobs, ministries. The ministries are there waiting for us. That's what all of this was all about, is get the Moors back out here governing these resources. So the duties and responsibilities are first to our government, which is the Moors, which we are all part and parcel of. And we're in our sovereign jurisdiction at all times. Never will we ever be in citizen status, and never subject status, and, you know, all of that can never be. We're just returning back to what our ancestors were doing when the foreigners came here. Now, what does this look like? It looks like this. Number 3, alignment with a custodial subject matter expert. And alignment just means they're sitting next to you in subject status. And whenever you need some assistance, they need to assist. Other than that, we don't need to be going all around, you know. Alignment with them for that position if necessary, and then we begin governing by reading a general description for our chosen position. So the first thing that I'll be doing, and I've already started it, is reading the description for postmasters general and for universal bankers, and we'll give you an example of what our universal banker, what their responsibilities will be. And it's just a sample. We can edit it as we go. And the thing about these positions is when we go back into these positions, we're going into them changing things, period. Because there's going to be some things that were going on there that are unnecessary, that didn't need to be happening. So those things are not going to happen for the Moors. Because again, all of the resources that are being used in these places are our resources first and foremost, and they were put there for us. So we're going to look at a general description of the job, or the ministry rather, and we're going to modify it according to what it should be to best assist the Moors. Edit the description according to your government strategy for implementation of duties in your sovereign nation. So these are things we're going to be doing for the Moors, for our nation. They may have a subject that was doing business as Postmaster General. That has nothing to do with us. All they're there to do is assist us in, as we Postmaster Generals, the original indigenous sovereign Postmaster Generals, as we do what we came to do, which is implement the system for the Moors. That includes the financial system, the mailing system, and that's going to be one of our top priorities. Because as we know, everything really falls under the Postmaster General in terms of commerce. All Moors are postmaster generals, no matter what position you're in. You have postmaster general authority, period. So all positions are being governed so that all responsibilities are that of the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. In other words, all of the control of anything going on there is in our control and our jurisdiction. And that's why court actions are going to be so important with regard to the documents that we put out there. They're all court actions. That means that there's no battling back and forth with anyone, especially not subjects, about how things are to be implemented. The seat of government for the f.i.r.e. mandate is at Mount Olympus, which is here, and Federal Way, Washington Reservation, which consists of Seattle, Federal Way, Tacoma, Olympia, Washington territories combined, in addition to Washington territory, period, Washington and Oregon, and Khalifa territory, all the way down to Mexico and all the way up to what they were calling British Columbia, but it's really Queen Columbia territory. Additionally, the entire west coast for Al Morocco, Amex from Northwest Africa, is ancient Washington district for Columbia. This includes Canaan land and Alaska, which they call Alaska. And this we have done based on the previous maps that we've seen and knowing the length of our authority, which our authority extends, and when I say our, I mean all Moors. Our authority extends earthwide. All exchanges shall be executed in gold, silver, gold-backed Moorish sovereign dollarium, and or gold United States dollars only. No fiat at all, no Bitcoin, none of that. It's got to be gold, silver, gold-backed Moorish sovereign dollarium, and or gold United States dollars only. All f.i.r.e. mandate sovereigns shall meet regularly at the seat of government for briefings, updates, status reports, and all other administrative and governmental services related to actions, announcements, process updates, and events. Meetings are either electronically governed or face-to-face. Law governs all events. We are the law and we are the government. So this program is modeled after a program, or this mandate is modeled after a program that I participated in when I was fast asleep and working in corporate government, quote unquote, and that's government in all capital letters. So it's not real government. But this program, so for example, Justice Frank has previous truck driver experience. We're going to need all hands on deck with all of this. So that would all be done with these documents and going to the right places in terms of, you know, those places that are saying they're hiring for this and hiring for that. They're not hiring us. Okay, we're going there with these documents to get the resources. Okay, and this, we're actually going to be talking with those that are claiming to be in leadership, etc., the custodians, the leaders of the custodians. We're going to be talking with them, especially starting here in this territory, so that we can get this mandate going. Because we got to get the money exchange piece, because the Moors need to be paid for their services. This is government services. So this is something that we're implementing here that we have to implement everywhere else. It has to implement everywhere else. And again, this whole quote unquote COVID thing was in preparation for us to come back and govern all of the resources, but do it outside of capitalism and outside of the United States corporation company system. Everything that you've seen says that we're ready for this right here. But it has to be done in a manner that we're outside of their system, of that corporate system, because we've leaned it, we've put it in subject status, etc., and that system is done, it's finished. And some Moors, you know, if you're a Moor, and this is not a put down, if you're a Moor who cannot see that that system is finished, I'm asking ancestors to show you that it's finished. And there's going to be some really quick tumbling down of some things that we thought were being governed by them that were not being governed by them. They just hypothecated it. And so we need to, we're going to implement this, and, you know, whenever we put something, because we've not put any mandates out at all. And the reason that it's called a mandate is because it's a date for those who were doing business as mankind to, we have to have our resources. We have to. And so what this will look like, it will look like people going back out and getting jobs, but that's not really what it is. It's because we're not filling out job applications. We're giving them sovereign affidavits in red and all lowercase letters. And we're saying, we're here for our resources. So there's a diplomatic way to do that. We want to focus on the diplomacy of it, knowing that the people that we're going to now are in subject status. And some may not be able to see this, but we were told by the ancestors to put it out there because our vast estate right now is in a state of waiting for us to do this. And this way, this time around, you get to pick what you love to do and not what, and then you're going to be doing it with other Moors, so that's going to make it even better. It's going to make it even better. And we're going to be doing things by our own terms and not by anyone else telling us this, that, and a third. Yes, they can assist, but ultimate decisions in all workplaces is up to the sovereign, period. And believe it or not, they've always been up to us. It's just that we kept yielding our authority by signing their contracts. And then they would just take our sovereign authority and use it to execute whatever they wanted to execute. And so now we're not filling out their applications. We're not filling out their contracts or anything because this is not a contract with them. They're in subject status. This is the natural order of things. So we're placing it on the public record, and then I want to show you what a job description looks like of a universal banker. We'll use that as an example. The one that they put out versus the one that we would be saying, this is the job that we're here to do. This is a part of our job here. And know that any of these job descriptions, we can edit them. And when we're editing them, we're editing them knowing that there are going to be Moors who want to do these jobs or who are well suited to do them, well qualified to do them. But we have to know that everything that we do is in red and all lowercase letters. Okay? So the foundational documents of the things that we do must be in red and all lowercase letters. So in other words, that which starts in truth will stay in truth no matter what it looks like later, but we have to start with red and all lowercase letters. The problem that we've had in the past is that we went into contracts with them when we were in our sleep. We contracted with them as employees. And then we woke up and and realized that, oh, wait a minute, I'm not a citizen, so I'm not supposed to be taxed. The resources all belong to us, etc. But when we tried to put that forth, that system was still sitting there saying, well, we don't have any heirs that are in here because all we see is citizens in the system. We don't see any heirs. So what we've done is come out of that system, come out of it, and now we're going to stand over the system. We're going to stand over it and tell it what to do. And that's something that we said back 2 years ago in a video we did a year or two ago, where we said that all commercial systems, including banking and shipping, etc., are under the authority of the Moors. So now we're bringing that piece forth now that we've gotten documents in alignment and we see that, you know, that our documents are very, very effective. So the courts are going to be important as well. All Moors are justices. And the thing that we need to know, those who are going to be moving into justice positions where we are going into these places and sitting justice there, or standing justice rather. And you can stand, you're standing justice even if you're sitting in a chair. You're standing justice because the jurisdiction is correct. Okay. But as we go into these places, the only thing that needs to be front and center is the Constitution and the treaties. Those two, first and foremost, for justices sitting on the bench. On the sovereign bench, by the way. So we're not sitting on corporate benches, we're sitting on sovereign benches. So you don't have to have gone to quote-unquote law school and all of that, okay? We need to be judging. And those who are going to be moving forth as justices on the land, it's a good idea to get your court actions on the public record now so that you can get your experience out there as well, okay? So let's take a look at a universal banker. First, let's look at it from the way the corporates put it out there, okay? And then we'll look at it from the way we put it out there. So if I was going somewhere to be a universal banker, okay, if someone said, oh, we have a teller position available, well, we're not tellers, we're universal bankers, all of us. So what we would do for that position, because it's not, we're, again, outside of their position. We're outside of that position. We would take these documents and whatever it is that they put out there as the job description and put it in red in all lowercase letters on an affidavit. And those are the documents that we would give to whoever it is, whatever custodial subject matter expert is there, and say, here is what I'm here to do. And then we have to give them some delarium to pay us with so that the credits, the sovereign credits. Now, this is not going to happen right today because we're here today right now, but it's already in motion. Everything is already set up for us to do what we're about to do. So let's look at what a universal banker document looks like. Here, let me pull up. And I've shown this previously, but I want to make sure that we all are aware of let's put that on the screen. Aware of what we're doing and where we're going and how we're staying in our sovereign jurisdiction. Because that's the key to all of this. If you're not really familiar with the difference between red letters and black letters, then don't do this demonstration until you know why we don't use their black stuff. Okay? We don't use it because it's jurisdictional, trademarked by them. That's why we don't use their stuff. We don't fill out their forms. And then when we're going on to these jobs, any forms that they have on the job, including job applications, we take those and then we say, okay, let's craft a template affidavit so that any more coming in here will fill out this template affidavit that has government letterhead on it so that they know that this is not a job, it's a ministry, and it's done for our nation. So those that are going in Judah, because in our ancient documents, they say send Judah first, so that Judah can get things ready for everyone else to come. And Judah came with instruments in the bibliothelial text. Well, instruments for us is documents. So those of us that are going to be going into these places of ours, these resource places of ours, we will have full access to the resources there. Printers, copiers, computers, anything else that's there that's being used by the citizens, absolutely we're going to use it for the Moors. So then that's why the things that we've been saying thus far have been in preparation for this, to take back the resource. Okay, so now we're looking at this this universal banker document. Okay, just one moment. So take a minute to look at that, and I'm gonna open up just a couple of things here. Take just a minute to look at that. Okay. All right. So now, I've opened the chat back up so that we can hear from one another, and let me go ahead and I want to make, okay. And I do believe everyone can, okay, are you all able to speak on the, because I want to be sure that we can hear one another.
Islam.
Islam, okay, great, thank you. Okay, we wanted to get everything, the riffraff out so we can do this. So we're looking now
Pauline, why don't you lead by example and go do this stuff yourself?
Hold on for just a
Go
minute.
do all this stuff yourself, Pauline.
Okay, I have to say, doesn't he sound tired? I don't know if maybe it's just me, but he sounds tired. We want to give him a break. Stay out of the meeting. Okay, so we're looking now at this document here, and this is the way they put their documents out. Universal Banker, black ink, capital letters, etc. You know, we don't do any of that. And here, you all can take a look at this document and see some of the things that they're saying that they will have their universal banker do. And then they have some qualifications here, 1 to 3 years of personal banking experience, proficient in Microsoft Outlook, Word, Excel, basic understanding of math, strong oral and written communication skills, etc., strong problem solving, etc. Okay. So now what would we do with this? We would make our own sovereign affidavit by court action, and we would rewrite this. Here they're talking about customers, okay? So some of the words that we would be changing will be, just one moment. Let's see. One moment. Empress Sabrine, which one of these is yours? Is it the Yahoo or the Proton? Empress Sabrine, if you could put in the chat Which one is yours, Yahoo or Proton? Because one of those has been hypothecated, and I want to put the right one out. And Empress Sabrina, you can star 6. Just one moment. I'm going to take a guess at it. Okay.
The Proton should be Anawa Ihaivive.
Okay, I got the right one out. I got the right one. Okay. So the way that we would rewrite this is first we would put it in red in all lowercase letters, and then take out words like customer, because unless you're talking about citizens, okay, we're not talking about citizens, we're talking about the heirs. So when I rewrote this document, because I did rewrite it, let me pull up the rewriting that I did so that you can see where we're staying in our sovereign jurisdiction as we move into these positions, okay? And again, now, all of the trauma, let's keep this in mind, all of the trauma that we had on those jobs previously where, you know, someone was lording, quote unquote, lording over you, and you felt the pressure that you were going to lose your job if you didn't do what they wanted you to do. That pressure is not here. It's not here. Not here. Because they're not hiring you. You're hiring you. You are the government. Okay? So this is how we're going to build up our estate the right way. Thank you. The link to this to the black document is in the chat. But this is how I rewrote the document. Hopefully you can see it on the screen. The ministry title is Universal Banker. A summary is this position's responsibilities will include meeting sovereign needs by interviewing potential and existing customers, and the reason I left the word customer there, I'll explain that to you shortly. Desiring to open accounts while providing excellent sovereign service. There are a lot of Moors out there who still think they're customers. So we're going to be asking, what's your nationality? What's your nationality? And if they don't know their nationality, or we can look and see that it says black in the system, then we automatically know that they're going to be needing sovereign services. And so we're going to tell them, in order to open up an account, you'll need to fill out these documents, and it's going to be a name change and judicial proclamation template in order for them to open up an account. And then a whole bunch of other things happen from there. We know that that works because that's what the hybrid foreign colonizers and capitalists were doing. Anytime we went somewhere, they had us fill out something that had a name in black and an address, etc. Okay? And we automatically yielded, not knowing that that is not who we are. So as we go back into our status the way that we should be, and go back into the use of the resources, we stay sovereign, and we never go into citizen status. This is the only way that we can move forward in terms of getting the economy going, getting the services that we need, and all of that is the services have to be done by us, and we must be outside of that system. We have to be. We have to be. Now, I can hear in the energies some saying that, oh, the hybrids ain't going to go for that. They're not going to go. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're already going for it. They've been waiting for it. They've been waiting for it. They knew we were coming back. They knew we were going to wake up and take the resources. That is why you've seen all of the changes in the financial sector, in the real estate sector, the banking, and all of that. Here in this territory, the policy enforcers have gone to where, and I'm not going to put too much out there, but they cannot put their hands on people around here or any of that, because that's not even why they were supposed to be here. Can't do it. So what we're doing is making sure that all of the resources that are available to policy enforcers become available to the Moors. And it's going to be for Moorish use. The policy enforcer stations and all of that, they have all said, oh, we don't have enough people to do what we need to do, and we've been defunded and all of this. Okay, great. Move aside. We got the funding because we're the Moors and we created all funding in the first place. And we're paying ourselves with our own money. This is going to be a process that is going to take some time, but all we got is time. All we have is time to implement these processes.
You know, I really think you're insane.
I don't think anybody even invited you to this meeting, so I'm going to go ahead and boot you out, because you're not even, this is not for your nationality, or your citizenship, rather. This is for the Moors who have a nationality, so we're going to go ahead and boot you out. Respectfully boot you out. How about that? That's diplomatic, isn't it? It's right. So, because we don't want to be mean to the subject, because we're, you know, they're going to be assisting, but they will stay in subject status. Period.
September 6th,
So,
Pauline, that's your 90-day
here. So now, see what he's saying. What the hybrid is saying is that our lien work. See, just all we gotta do is listen. Our lien worked. We leaned the building again down the street, and he's saying that the 90-day period for the lien ends in September. I thought our liens didn't work.
If your lien worked, you'd have the building,
yes,
wouldn't you,
it worked.
dumb
No,
bitch?
it worked. You just admitted it worked. Be quiet. Out of the meeting. You're out of here. So now, this is how we're going to take back the resources on our land. And again, we don't have to ever go back to citizen status to get the things we need. That's why we're moving in this manner. All of the resources on the land, from the post office to all services, all food, everything belongs to us. If you're a waitress and that is the job that you like to do and you feel comfortable doing that, you must be in your proper status to do it. Openly in your proper status to do it, if that's what you choose to do. If you choose to be in banking, then you have to know that the bank president answers to you, not the other way around. Okay? And that anybody that was previously doing business as a postmaster general or whatever, they answer to you. They're there to assist you. You don't work for them, they work for you. And that's in all areas. No matter what area it is, that's in all of them. Just one second. Okay. The Empress the Green is out there. So are there any questions about what this f.i.r.e. mission is about? And yes, it is so that we can actually fire everybody who's claiming to be over some resources. And we're not firing them in a mean way. We're just letting them know that they can, that the resources belong to the Moors. Okay. Just one moment. And I'm looking in the chat. Let's see. Okay. So are there any questions about anything that we said and how we're going to be moving forth from this point? Because I was speaking to one of the Moors just yesterday, I believe it was, who had gone through the airport. And we're going to have Moors at the airport who have a line specifically for the Moors. Specifically for the Moors, those with Moorish identification. Specifically. And some are still, I can hear it in the energy, some are still saying, they're not going to let us do that. They don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. So we're going to do everything the right way in terms of using the systems that are here, okay, and using the resources that are here. Just one moment. Okay. Just one moment. Let me get a few more of those out of here. So this is the f.i.r.e. mandate, the f.i.r.e. mandate. And we're introducing it now. It's going to be 3.5-year process whereby everything is being, and the thing is, we already have Moors who are sleeping Moors that are already in the majority of the positions, as you can see. We know that the postmaster, I mean, not the postmaster general, but what's the military position? Provost Marshal. The Provost Marshal is a sleeping Moor, and I don't know if she's sleeping or not. She might be awake. The head of DC is a Moor. That's Empress Mary L. Bowser. And I don't know if she's awake or not, but I know one thing, she knows what she's doing up there. And then all over the place we have Moors that are the heads. And the reason that the Moors have been put in charge of everything is so that this that we're doing right now can happen. Okay? So we're not going to have any issues with regard to getting into the workspaces and doing the things that we need to do. We're going to need Moors at the DMV so that license plates and all of that can be properly put in the our proper sovereign jurisdiction. And that may mean creating a system while you're there, creating a system outside of theirs and then making it so that our system hovers above their system. That's what we'll be doing everywhere we go, except that, again, the systems have been nationalized because there are systems. And that's what liens and court actions do. They nationalize, and terminations of corporate contracts. I hope that's on the list. Let me make sure that that's on the list. I believe I did put it on the list. Terminations of all corporate contracts has to be in place. It must be in place. And a lien on wherever you're going for to take these positions. And all of that we take with us. when we go. All of that we take with us when we go. I'm going to do it here because we need to implement our money system. And we already know that there's a go back, or not even it's not even just go
We
back.
want to see you videotape yourself at the grocery store spending delarium, Pauline. Let's see you at the grocery store.
All they think about is food. So we know that the system that has always been in place has been a gold United States dollar system, a gold one, where gold dollars are circulating all over the land. And then that was in 1933, from 1913 to 1933, they made sure they took all of that out of the way, but that does not mean that the system is not still there. And we know for a fact that the gold dollars are still there. We just needed to create the platform whereby all of this links together. This has everything to do also with the work that we've been doing with the Almoroccan American Exchange. Because any place that you go to today that is presented by the Almoroccan American Exchange. We needed to claim the companies and the resources in red and all lowercase letters because that's what started all of the companies that are out there now. If you'll notice, the Federal Reserve is on our list. The Post Office was on our list. The military is on our list. All of those are on the list at the New York Stock Exchange is on our list of companies in red and all lowercase letters. So we had to properly claim that first and say we're the heirs to that and put that on the public record. And now any place that you go, it doesn't matter where you go, large business or small business, there's going to be some Moors who want to do the small business portion of commerce and merchant things on the land. This is a part of that also. Because those documents are the same documents that you will be notifying clerks of court and those doing business, you know, the custodial tax people and all of that. These documents are going to be the ones. And then the Moors that are in these places, because Moors are going to have to go to those places too with these documents and say, I'm the clerk of the court now. I'm the sovereign clerk. And then the subject will assist. And again, we have to go in diplomatically. This is where our nobility is going to be front and center. And then as we take these positions, we have to let everyone know that we're here, okay? So that if they need services or if, you know, whatever needs is going on for our country, I mean, our land and our nation and our government, that we can take these services and say, okay, we have a Moor here at this post office. So go through them and get whatever you need. Send them an email so that they can get some things done that way. And we'll be putting out our email addresses and everything as we move into these positions so that we all know that, okay, if you need these services, you can go here because Light is there. Or Empress Sharon is there, or Empress, you know, Gloria is here, or, you know, Justice Frank is there. You know, any of the services that are needed until we all link up together so that we have a nice, tight Moorish network for our government to use these resources. Okay. So if there aren't any questions, I did see your comment in the chat, Justice Theodore. It is genius because that is how it was meant to be in the first place. That's why they, when they saw us stand up and start leaning, they said, okay, we got to find a way to pull back all of these. We have to stop all that we're doing because the Moors are speaking, and let's just watch and see. Let's just watch and see what they're doing. And then we'll move according to whatever the Moors say they want to do. We had to get past some certain things. We had to show competence. where policy enforcers are concerned and where fake courts are concerned, we had to show competence there. We're going to continue moving in the same things that we've been doing. We're going to keep doing them. Court actions on these, as we move into our authority on the land. If you're going into a bank and you're going to be working at a bank, you need to have your own stamps and seals. And the bank, any resources that we need, they're going to get them for us. We just have to know what it is we need. We need, you know, we're going in already with our own stamps and seals everywhere. Okay. And then we may have subject stamp and seals that they use that says, okay, the subjects are here, but our stamps and seals are the highest. So it'll be the difference between, let's say, a CEO stamp, which is ours, we would have the highest, and chairman of the board stamp. And then they would put their whatever is necessary, and that's if we say that they put it on there. But if we say, no, you don't need nothing from you, then nothing from them. So we have to do it at our own, we're making our own rules in terms of all that we're doing. Our land, they stopped the majority of the things that they've been doing. It's the only things that are moving right now is just to keep everyone fed and keep everyone calm right now. So those activities are still going on. Grocery stores and things like that, but not to the degree that it was before, because they have had to make room for us to do what we're doing. Okay. So that is all that I wanted to present with regard to this process that we're going to do here, this mandate that we're putting on the public record. I would, though, like to take a quick vote on this process and or get an affirmation or a non-affirmation on the process, okay, by the heirs, just so that we have it on the public record what the heirs think about this process. Yes, I see in the chat. Perhaps do not join line, so they are seeing yes. Yes, Islam in the chat. Yes, Islam. I'm just catching up on some of the things that I missed in the chat. This is, yes, okay, Islam, that is the Provost Marshal in the chat. And okay, and the voting has begun in the chat. If you would, we would like to get a few votes on the public record in terms of the sound. So if you would, yes, thank you in the chat, I see. If you would, just give an Islam.
Yeah, this
yes,
is Travis Moore, Abdulaziz Bay. Yes.
Yes.
Islam.
Yes. Theodore Moses Antoine Bay. Pharaoh. Yes.
Islam.
Sure, yeah.
Islam.
Yes.
Islam, almost Allahu Tepe, yes.
Islam. Islam in the chat as well.
Michael Young, yes.
J. Medina Bay, yes.
Islam.
Islam. Melissa Kill Bay. Yes.
Islam.
Dawood Saleh Bay, yes.
Islam.
Leal Bat Israel, yes.
Islam. Thank you.
David Wiggindale, yes.
Yes.
Islam.
Lango Bay, Trinidad Territory, yes.
Islam. Kenya, Houston, L, Florida Territory. Affirm. Yes. Islam, thank you.
Carolina Wiggins, L, yes.
Islam. Pauline Denise Ritchie, in Capita Seminucio Nolo, in red ink, in proprio Tifanis Juris, in proprio Solo, and in proprio Heredes, I affirm. Islam. Yes, we see in the chat, Empress Jonelle, let's see, Justice Amos, Justice Yazarel, Justice Maurice, Justice Vaniel, Justice Jira Moore, Justice Morpheus, Justice Olongo, Justice Sharif, affirmed, yes. Islam, Empress Kenya, yes. Justice Theodore, yes. Justice Sharif Day, it says 3/4. I'm not sure what that means. But if you want to, Islam.
Brother Irvin Smith Bay. Yes.
Islam. Thank you, nobility. Justice Osafa, Islam in the chat. Justice Medina, yes. Islam. Justice Travis, Islam. Justice Musa, Islam in the chat, yes. Islam. Islam, yes it is. It is fire, that's for sure. So this, with that being said, we have here much for us to be thinking about and chewing on and preparing for. Those who have not gotten their documents in red and all lowercase letters, there will be some documents under this video at Light Tajiri Bay channel on YouTube so that you can get your name change, judicial proclamation, lien, termination of corporate contracts, etc. You can get all of that put on the public record in red and all lowercase letters so that we can now go back to get the resources that we need. And this is also in alignment with Islam, Empress.
Empress Aisha, L, yes.
Islam, thank you, Empress. So this is also in alignment with when the children of Israel were leaving Egypt, they were able to take all of the resources with them. We've already left. We're just picking up all of the resources that we need in order for Morocco, which is still this land here, never has been any other land, okay, to do what we need to do in order to govern the resources here. With that being said, the vote is on the record. It is unanimously affirmed by the heirs. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Islam.
Islam, peace and grand rising.
Much love.
Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
Peace and love.